Hi friends, Christina here from the Raspberry Pi Foundation team. Thank you for joining us this week for Digital Making at Home. This week we are making music. I'm personally really excited. This is one of the things I really miss the most while being at home is making music with friends and family. So thank you for joining me as we create some music. We're going to be composing music. You can join Mr. C and do some scratch. Me, I'll be doing an introduction to Sonic Pi, or if you know already about Sonic Pi, you can do a more advanced project with Mark. So let's jump right into our project. So to get to our project, we can actually click here on Browse All Projects. And then I'm going to filter here at the top. I'm going to find a project, I'm going to filter by topic. And I'm going to go to Music. And we're going to be doing the project here in the second row, Compose Your Own Tune. You can also get to this project by using the tiny URL rpf.io/dm-tune. So here you're going to see we're going to be using Sonic Pi, which is a really neat tool. It's an open source programming environment where we're going to be coding music using the programming language Ruby. So right here in this project, we're just going to be composing a short tune. So this is a great introductory project to Sonic Pi and to how you can code with music. So the first thing you need to make sure is that you have a device with Sonic Pi on it. So here in the second step where it says play your first notes, it's going to give you, there are instructions for how to install Sonic Pi. So you can open those instructions here, and it shows you how you can install Sonic Pi for whichever device that you're using. So if you don't have Sonic Pi on your computer yet, go ahead and follow these instructions and then join me back here on this video for some coding with music. All right, so you should have Sonic Pi open up on your computer. I just opened it up on mine, and I'm going to go over the interface. So here on the left, this is our code editor. So this is where we'll write out some of our code. What's great here, you can also make this text smaller, or you can also make it bigger. I made it the largest size so it's easy for all of us to see. You can also change the size here of the the editor and also of the panels here on the right. And here on the right you have scope, which you can add or remove, and you also have the scope view and you have the log view. These give you information about your code when you run it. So if I run this right here, you're going to see a sound wave, and you'll also see information here about your code. And this is really helpful if you have to debug anything. Another helpful piece is the help system, which you click here at the top right. It'll open it up down here at the bottom. And so this is a really great resource. I'll reference it a little bit during this video, but I definitely encourage you, if you're interested in learning more about Sonic Pi and how to compose your own music, to check out this resource. So let's get started. I just coded the first line of code. Go ahead and type that into your Sonic Pi code editor as well. Play 76. And you'll notice here that the code automatically changes color. So think of this is very much like any sort of space where you type in code, and it's also similar to like a Word doc where you can actually copy and paste as well. So I typed in play 76, and let's run it again. So we hear a singular note. Awesome. Let's actually add in another note. I'm going to type in play, and I'm going to type in the number 72. So go ahead and run your code. Let me give you a second to do it on your computer first, and then I'll run mine. So what do you notice? Hopefully you notice that both of those notes played together. So what we actually need to do is we're going to add in another line of code if you want those notes to play separately. So to do that, I'm going to add in a line here, sleep 1. So now run your code, and you should hear 2 separate notes. All right. So I heard 2 separate notes similar to what a doorbell sound might make, a doorbell chime. So now I encourage you to change up those numbers. So right now we're saying we have our code written and it says play 76, sleep 1, play 72. So you can play different notes from numbers 21 to 108. So I'm going to change this to 50 and then change this to 100 and see what that sounds like. Ooh, that was really high. Oh God. um, so what you know is that really low numbers will be really low notes and really high numbers will be really high notes. That's what we just learned. And I'm going to change that because it was a little too high. And with sleep, that is how long the program waits before it plays the next note. So you can make it faster by making that a smaller number. So we can try 0.5. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, I made it a little bit faster, or I can make it slower by adding. So instead of 1, I'm going to put 2. All right, nice. All right, so I'm going to go back to our original notes for our doorbell or doorbell chime. And that was 76 here. That was 72. I'm going to have this, keep this at 1. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you now how to add a loop. Because sometimes for a doorbell, it's not just one, da, da. It's going to do it maybe a couple times. So let's put it in a loop. So to do that, we're going to add a line of code at the first line of code we're going to put in is 2 dot times space do. And then we need to indent lines 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to highlight those. I'm going to press tab. And then we're going to end this. We need to add in end for line 5. And so when we run this, this is going to run our code twice. Or it's going to run this twice. Oh, interesting. What is missing? Okay, so did you hear that? It sounded a little funny at the end. What we actually need to do is we need to add in a sleep at the end. Because what happened was it ran and then it played the 72 and the 76 together when it did this next loop. I'm going to hear that one more time. So we want to add in a sleep here. And now it should work. All right. So if you want to change the number of times that this loops, you can change that number here. So I can make it 3 by changing that to 3. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. So I'm not going to do it 3 times. It'll get a little ridiculous if I do it more than that. But now you know how you can add in a loop with your code. Something you can also do, and you may have already noticed, is that you can record your the music that you can record your chime. You can record a tune that you make. And when you record it, it will create a WAV file, which you can save. And what's great about that is you can use that in Scratch, or you can use it in another, as long as you have a tool, as long as you have a program that can play WAV files. So you can create any sort of tune. If you want, you can save it, you can record it and then save it and then upload it into Scratch if you want to add that tune into Scratch. All right, so now we're going to talk about how you can take a familiar melody or a tune that you know and convert it in Sonic Pi to code. So to do that, we have to know a little bit about notes and music. So earlier we were coding and we used the number 72, right? And that played a note for us. So 72 is the MIDI number. And the MIDI number is the Musical Instrument Digital Interface, MIDI. And this is a number that is used across all electronic instruments and also like digital musical tools. So that number also represents a musical note. So let me show you an image here of a piano keyboard. So you see here that the piano keyboard, if you're familiar with music, maybe you've heard the term middle C before. The middle C is the middle C in the middle of a piano. So in this case, middle C, the MIDI number is 60 and the musical note is C4. So when we play those, we can put in play 60. And then I'll also put in play C4. You'll see the notation is a little bit different. You have to do a colon and then it'll highlight it in pink versus blue. What we'll hear is we'll hear the same note that's the same note. So you can write notes either with MIDI numbers or with the actual note name, whichever is more comfortable for you. Now, when you're looking up a song, let's say you Google a song, you Google a melody, you'll likely get it in with the notes. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit how you can convert those. So let's start and do one together. So here are the notes for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So you see here the notes are C, C, G, G, A, G. So let's code that together. So we know it's C, C. So I'm going to put in play 60 and then sleep, because remember I want these notes to be played separately. Then play 60 and then sleep. Oops. So that should give us our first two notes. Let's see. All right, starting to sound like it. All right, then we have G, and G here on the diagram is 67. So play 67, sleep 1, play 67, and I'm going to keep going, and you go ahead and keep going on your computer too. And let's see if we finish up with the same code. So now it's A. So play. All right, then after A, we have two A's and then a G. And then, all right, so let's see if your code matches up with mine. Then G is play 67. So fingers crossed, let's see if we've got Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Nice, all right. So check your code and see if yours matches with mine, and congrats on coding your first melody. So let's try another one. I'll put one up here for you to try on your own. Let's try Old MacDonald. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and clear this, and I'm going to try and code Old MacDonald, and I want you to try too. So I'll go ahead and pause this video, try and code on your own, and when you come back, I'll have Old MacDonald up here. All right, the magic of creating a video. Just put up Old MacDonald here, and I'm curious how you approached it. I also did the same thing I did with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I looked at each note and then matched it up with the MIDI number. And then in this case for Old MacDonald, I shortened the amount of sleep in between. So let's play it and see if it works. Nice, all right. I hope yours is also, like you also were able to get the tune to work out as well. And one more thing I want to show you is if you want to change, right now we have basically been using like one sound. You can change what is called the synth in Sonic Pi. So the default synth has been the beep sound. And so we can change it by adding code to the top of like the segment that you want to play. So we can have Old MacDonald actually be a different sound. So the code you would use is use underscore synth and then space with colon. And you see there's a bunch of different options. So you can pick any of these options here. I'm going to go ahead, I'll pick FM. Oops. All right, and now let's actually hear what the Old MacDonald sounds with this synth. All right. All right, nice. Okay, so you see how that changed up the sound. So you can do that with your tunes that you can add in here. All right, so we started off today. We learned how to play notes. We learned how to add sleep. We learned how to add loops. We also learned how to convert a melody to MIDI notes. And we also learned how to change the synth. So I'll make sure what I'll do, so the images that I used of the keys and the MIDI notes, I'll put those in a resource and we'll link them in the description section of this video. And I'll also add in the additional notes. So if you're wondering about sharps and flats, here I'll go ahead and show you. I'll add in those as well. And then I'll also add in the rest of the notes so that you have those depending on which melody you're pulling from. And so if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us. We really appreciate the music that you all are creating. We love that the projects that you're sending in. So thank you so much. Oh, let me make myself a little bit bigger. Thank you all so much for joining us. And as always, make sure to share your projects. We want to see what you're creating. So definitely go to rpf.io/home to share your projects and send us any questions. I can't wait to see what music you make this week. Bye.